The U.S. and Canada have reached a deal aimed at stopping asylum seekers from entering the shared land border via unofficial crossings. Meanwhile, according to Reuters, the U.S. has been quietly flying migrants from the U.S.-Canada border down to Texas as a way of discouraging future migration. The news agency says it has examined flight records and spoken to eyewitnesses who say some migrants have been transported in shackles. Our Toni Waterman reports.
According to this Reuters report, U.S. border officials have flown about 100 migrants from Plattsburgh, New York, which is about 40 kilometers from the Canadian border, to the southern border cities of El Paso and Harlingen, Texas. Witnesses telling Reuters that these migrants included men, women, and children, and that some of them were in shackles as they disembarked from the plane. These southbound flights could be the first step in deporting these migrants to Mexico under COVID-19 policy known as Title 42, and immigration advocates believe the flights are intended to send a message to deter illegal migration across the U.S. northern border. There has been a record number of asylum seekers crossing illegally into Canada from the U.S., nearly 40,000 last year, and encounters this fiscal year are on track to easily outpace 2022. According to reports, many of these migrants view Canada as more welcoming and safer than the U.S., and they believe they can find work and have their asylum cases heard more quickly. But the influx is putting tremendous strain on Canadian resources, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has promised to raise this issue with President Biden when they meet in Ottawa Thursday and Friday.
Issues of migration, we are well aware of Canadian concerns. We have concerns of our own. I mean, it's a shared hemispheric, a shared regional challenge. So I have no doubt that they'll discuss it.
Right now, U.S. and Canadian officials are allowed to turn migrants back from formal ports of entry, but most of this illegal migration is taking place at informal border crossings, like the one in Plattsburgh, New York. The Canadian government would like to see the expulsion policy expanded to cover the entire 4,000-mile border, but it's unclear what incentive the Biden administration would have in agreeing to this, especially when the U.S. is grappling with an immigration crisis of its own. Toni Waterman, CGTN, Austin, Texas.